Hello, I'm Graham Horton and welcome to this video. Now you can probably guess from the title that we're looking at dusting cameras again. I've had problems in the past with my bridge cameras. My first FZ200, which I still use occasionally, sucked in dust, and again when you turn them on they extend, and if you zoom out again that piston effect sucks in any dust that may be in the lens frame, or again maybe on the front surface of the lens there, or even sucking dust in from the back of the camera. So if you can, try and keep these cameras in a case or in a dust-free environment when you're storing them. But unfortunately I have now got dust in my second FZ200, and it's the one that I use for close-ups. I find I get fantastic images with the FZ200 for close-ups. So I noticed the other day when I was pointing the camera towards a light source, see an example of it now on the screen. So by that central window you can probably just see a cluster of dust spots. If I move it over to a darker area, you can probably see them there. There were some globes of dust which were being picked up by the cross lighting and were affecting the image. So today we're going to strip the front element out of the FZ200. It's a fairly simple task, and you will only need a simple set of tools. So I've got them here on the desktop. I've got a rocket blower, I've got a pair of tweezers which we may or may not need, two 000 cross-point screwdrivers. In fact, these are what I call the JTS screwdrivers, Japanese Technical Services. I bought these when I was doing a lot of camera repairs. They actually fit the screws better than our cross-point screws, so there was no danger of me damaging screw heads. But if you've only got the 00 or 000 screwdrivers, they will do the job. And I've got a little scalpel blade here which is there to remove the bezel from the front of the lens. Let's clear some desk space and I'll show you how you can remove this lens surface and clean it yourself. Look at it in bright light. I can actually see that the dust is not on the front element, it's actually sitting on the surface of the second element of the glass. So we're going to strip this out and clean it, and I'll show you how to do that. So with a scalpel blade, and again if you do it properly you're not going to damage the surface area of the lens, and the idea is that we're going to put it under the bezel and remove the bezel, which is only held in place with a double-sided tape type device. So we're just going to slip that underneath the edge of the bezel, and we'll go round with the tip of the blade and there is a location peg as we could just come up to it there, so we don't want to cut that, so just draw the blade out a little bit and continue to go around to remove that tape, and you can now see that the bezel comes off and we're still left with some double-sided tape there which we can use to reassemble it. In fact, we've got a little bit of it that's now come off onto the lens surface, so I'm just going to gently remove that. These tweezers aren't actually meeting at this point, so I'll remove it. And we'll remove that glue with some solvent in a moment. Now, if you look around this bezel, you can see that we've got 3 screws, and they're what are holding the outer element into the lens. Now it will only go back in one orientation, so don't worry about remembering which way up it goes. So with your JTS screwdriver or your 000, we'll start to remove these 3 screws. So we'll put those on the desktop, and now this will actually just lift out. So what I'm expecting to find if I look with my high power magnifying glass is to see those dust specks on this front element. And there are a couple of specks there which are at the bottom of the lens, which would make that right with the image inversions, which have put some at the top of the image, which we saw in the image it was there. So we're going to clean that off. Now, I used to use a lens cleaning solution with the lenses, but I've stopped using that as I was getting the film. So this was a brand new piece of microfiber cloth. I'm just going to gently wipe around the lens. And apologies to any opticians that find that the wrong technique. But that has removed those marks. Just before we assemble it, I'm going to use the rocket blower to blow any dust that might be left in the lens chamber. I'm going to look on the inner surface of the outer lens to see if there's any dust. So if you look at it at an oblique angle, you can actually see it if it's there. The only dust is right at the very outside edges, which are outside the optical path, but I'm going to clean that anyway. So we're left with that residue on the lens. So I'm just going to go and get a lens cleaning tissue to remove that. So I've got isopropyl alcohol lens cleaning tissue here, and I'm just going to remove that residue that we picked up from the double-sided tape. So gently using circular motion and changing the surface of the tissue. There's still a little bit there, and we'll clean that with a microfiber. And if you normally look through a lens to a bright light source, if there are any blooming or dust, you normally see that. I'm just going to inspect this again with my high power lens. Right, there are just some residual hairs just left on that outside surface, so we'll clean those off. Now when you come to reinstall the lens, it will only go back in one position, so if you try to put it in the wrong position, you'll find that it won't latch, but if you turn it, there it drops in position like so. If you've got the magnetic screwdriver, it makes this process of reinstalling the screws a lot easier. Put my glasses on, then reinstall the 3 screws. Don't fully tighten them, just lock them down gently. And now we can snug them up. Don't over tighten them, they don't need to be earth-shatteringly tight. We just blow that there. I can see I've managed to just catch the lens, so we'll clean that off there. Now we can reinstall the bezel, and you can see on the bezel there's a slight notch, and that aligns with a notch at roughly 3/4, if you like, on the ring. So if we put that over there on the notch, so that is in position, and then using my microfibre cloth I'm just going to go round and push down that bezel back to stick it down using the remaining double-sided tape. If you found that you've cut too much of the tape off, then you could just put sort of 3 blobs of tape just to hold the bezel in place. It won't fall out. So that's so that's now back in place. I'll go outside and we'll take that same picture to make sure we've done a complete clean. So again, with the sun obliquely shining into the lens there, there's no evidence of any dust spots. Let's go over to a darker area. Remember, they were just on the upper thirds and they appear to have gone. So I think you can see from that video and the image that we have achieved a good clean of that lens. Very simple process. If you take your time, you should be able to manage that yourself. If you found the video useful and you've not already subscribed to the channel, why not hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, and then you'll be advised if I upload new videos to the channel. Also, check out my photographic blog if you've not already seen it. I'll put a link to that in the video description below. You'll find lots more information on the Panasonic Lumix fridge camera range, the Panasonic travel zoom cameras, and some of the Canon EOS range of cameras as well as general photographic information. So until the next video, thanks again for watching. Please do take care, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye for now.